There. Hi.
Hello.
This is Candie Conat with My Back Office Coach. I am here at Mrs. O's Crap Shack with Robin O'Malley.
Mrs. O.
Mrs. O.
I'm usually, as I said, not this close to my accountant.
I
this
know.
Is
We're
nice.
like all cozied in here. We're trying to figure this out so we don't look goofy. Okay, so we are here to talk about Mrs. O's bookkeeping. For her business that she started. What date did you start?
Well, I actually started it 2 years ago in November. Opened the shack about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago.
Yep. So you were doing online before that,
correct?
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So now she has a brick and mortar building in Interlochen, Michigan, where she is selling her crap, so to speak. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So some of the things we're going to talk about are 1099s. Whether she needs to do them or not, which we just determined, and her sales tax, and the accounting system that she uses.
That's a lot.
Yes,
Whew.
it is.
All right.
All right. So first of all, let's talk about 1099 since we
Okay.
just discussed that. We were concerned whether Robin would need to issue 1099s to her consigners because you have people who bring items to you. You sell the items, and then they get some and you get some.
Correct. So everything in here is consigned. So it belongs to other people.
Right.
And then each month I will pay them a consignment check should they want to be paid out. So the question was, what do I do at the end of the year? Because some of these ladies make a lot of money on their crap.
Right. And so the determination is because it's merchandise that she is selling for them. It's not a service that is being provided, that she does not need to do 1099s. Let me think of what do I want to say. Like a example of someone who would need to do a 1099 would be like maybe a cleaning business that has people come in and do cleaning for them, that kind of thing. So that those people doing the cleaning getting paid, if they're not being paid on payroll, then they would get a 1099.
Right.
All right, so
Relief.
Yeah, relief for Robin and relief for the people that are selling stuff.
That was
right?
great news. Great news.
So that makes it very simple. Sales tax, we talked about sales tax, and also just to let everybody know, Robin has a CPA that she deals with already, so she is on top of a lot of this stuff already. She was already signed up doing sales tax and keeping track of her sales and paying her sales tax in, and sometimes you have enough liability for sales tax that you pay monthly, and sometimes you don't have to because you don't meet the minimum.
Right. So it was my understanding that if my sales hit $5,000 per month, then the state wants me to pay in monthly. If it's much smaller than that, like a couple thousand, whatever, I can do it quarterly. You pointed out, which I think is great, regardless of what the sales are, just to pay it monthly, so that my expense is smaller.
Right.
Like do a monthly couple $100 check versus $1,000 at the end of the quarter.
Yeah, exactly. So then you don't have to keep track of. I mean, you still have to keep track, but you don't have to worry about having all that money set aside to pay that sales tax in that you collected from people. So that way, you just come up with a smaller amount every month, and you just pay it. You don't have to worry about do I owe this month or do I need to pay quarterly or whatever.
Now, one question I did have with regards to that is at the end of the year, I'll obviously have my canceled checks and such showing what I've paid to the state. Is there a form that I need to complete to prove that I have in fact done my civic duty and paid my taxes?
Oh yes, there is an annual sales tax form that you will fill in, and you basically it summarizes the year. So you're going to put in your total sales, what was taxable, what was non-taxable, and basically calculate it out, and it'll come out to say $5,000 of sales tax that you should have paid
already.
Then you'll put in the total that you did pay already, and the difference is either zero or you owe a little more, or maybe you made a little mistake somewhere and you get a little back.
Okay,
it just depends.
So ideally, we break even. That's the
that's
goal.
the goal. Yep.
Okay. Excellent.
And that's something that I believe can be done online now. So are you paying online?
No. In fact, I was working with my accountant to get set up online. the state system is very complicated, and it's gotten more so since they've gone online.
Yes.
So lucky for us small guys, we can still do a handwritten form and send in a check. They're still taking that. Yay.
They are for now, yeah. I don't know
so-
how long they're going
right.
to, but I'm guessing that sometime soon they're gonna force everybody to do
our
it
hand.
online.
So
Yeah.
I've been working with my accountant to get me set up. I do believe that I'm on with a password. It's just a matter of showing that I'm a part of the state system, which apparently I am not. One of those hiccups, glitches on their end.
Yeah, yep. And they actually did redo it a little bit in 2016, and it is a little simpler now. So it's not quite as bad as it was in 2015. It was really bad.
It was, yeah.
So it is a little better now. And let's see. So what else were we going to talk about? Oh, your accounting system. So
would you like to see my
let's show everyone your accounting
All
system.
right, here is my accounting system, sales, expenses, and then I keep track of everything in these cute little envelopes. I know, this is like, we're talking old school here. But when I first started, I mean, it's not like I have this huge budget, and I didn't have a computer system, and I knew I had to keep track of it. So that's what I have right now.
Yep. So, and actually, those envelopes full of receipts remind me of like when I very first started my accounting business, and people would call me up and be like, I need your help, and I'd go to their business or their house. A lot of them were home based, and they would like throw all these things at me, but they weren't organized like you are. Like they didn't. They were just folders full of receipts, and they'd be like, here's all my receipts. I need to do my tax returns for the last 5 years.
That's funny because I love that you think that I'm organized. One day I looked at these,
pretty
and
impressed with how
I
organized
had a
you
little
are.
bit of a panic attack because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I did get audited? Because that's what I would do. Here you go.
Yeah, but you know what the IRS would do? They go, here you go, and they throw it back at you and go, that ain't gonna work.
So clearly, an updated method as I'm thinking ahead into the new year would be great.
That'd be a great time
what
to
are
start,
some options for me?
So obviously, a lot of people know about QuickBooks. You know about
Love
QuickBooks.
QuickBooks.
Yep. But like you said, it needs to be in the budget. It's not a cheap program. I think it's worth it, I guess, to invest a couple $100 and get that program. But you also need to, have a computer, tablet, some way of, using the program.
Right.
So,
and I'd be curious, people that are watching. So I have my phone. I have my little iPhone, not the larger one. I don't have a tablet. I don't really have regular use to a laptop or a computer. How many people use QuickBook on their cell phone?
Yeah, maybe we could get people to comment because the amount of stuff she does on her phone amazes me. She's using Google Sheets right now to keep track of your consigners, what you owe them, what you've sold for each person, and that kind of thing. And on her phone, she's doing this on her phone, and no.
And I'm not saying it's
I can't do anything like that on my phone.
It's the best system. I mean, it's what I started.
But you're doing it, so that's the best thing.
So everybody's,
right.
Their items, their crap is being tracked, and I have a means to determine what's selling, what's not. I guess my question is, I would love to get into an actual accounting system.
Right.
And if people are using their phone, are they finding that it's convenient, not convenient? I don't know. I'd be interested.
And that's something I will do for you also. I will do a little research and find out different apps that you can do on your phone for accounting and bookkeeping and that kind of thing. I'm not really familiar. I'm sure QuickBooks probably has a phone or a tablet app.
I
know
so.
QuickBooks Online. I know several people who are using QuickBooks Online. Some people love it. Some people hate it. It's like a fine line, I guess.
I love QuickBooks. When I used it on on a PC, it was fabulous.
Yeah.
The
QuickBooks Online, I think, frustrates some people who are used to the desktop version of QuickBooks. It looks very different. So I think that it's those people who hate it online, the online version. The people who never use the other one, they love the online version. So it's I think it's just whatever you're used to.
Right.
So
my concern is the size of my screen on my phone.
I can't imagine doing it on your phone.
I mean, look at how hard it was to squeeze us our heads into this little camera. So I'm trying to think of entire spreadsheets and worksheets and
Yeah.
itemized lists all on this tiny screen.
Right.
So that's my big question. And
Okay.
and the app, the Google Sheets that I'm using is an app that, I mean, apps
Right.
are great.
Yeah.
They're a beautiful thing.
They really
when
are,
work.
yeah. And I can look at that stuff on my phone, but I'm not very good at navigating through them on my phone and actually
Right.
typing stuff in. I just get very frustrated. So
Well, and yeah, because it's so tiny.
yeah, and maybe a tablet will be something that you'll
Invest in.
want to invest in instead of a laptop. Maybe a tablet would make more sense for you too, because you can use the tablet to run credit cards just like you do on your phone too. So that might be something that you could use here that would be an all-around tool to replace your phone.
So speaking of expenses, I do have another question for you.
Yep.
So I use Square to accept credit card payments, and Square charges a percentage
Right.
of each sale. Is that tax deductible? Is that considered an expense?
Absolutely. Yep.
And I don't.
So you need to keep track of it.
So do they send? Do you know if Square sends like an end of the year total of what?
I don't know about Square because I have not used them. I'm not familiar with them, but I would think that you would be able to log into your account online and be able to download some kind of report, or at least get the number, print something out, save a file or something that says your total fees. I would think that there would be something. I've dealt with what's it called? PayPal's, the PayPal credit card swiper. And I know in their system, you can get a report that gives you your total sales, the total fees you've paid, the net amount that's been paid to you from them, and that kind of thing. So you definitely want that.
So
those credit card fees are definitely an expense of the business.
Okay, so I had been thinking about that, and it actually just occurred to me as we were talking.
Right.
So that's good to know.
Cool. Good question.
Thank you.
So let's see. I guess, I'm trying to think, what other things do we have to talk about? There was something I remember
One
seeing.
thing I'm thinking too, as far as expenses, that's one thing that I always try to be really careful of, what are legitimate expenses.
Right.
So with a small business like this, I mean, we just talked about Square fees being a like legitimate expense, the utilities, so on and so forth. I mean, what are some things for a small business to be careful about?
I think a couple of things that I have seen in the last few years, and one of them was particularly during an IRS audit of me, that a mistake that I had made was deducting too much, like cell phone. People think, oh, I used my cell phone for business, so I can deduct my cell phone. But you can only deduct a percentage of it. And you need to keep it real. Like, you can't say, oh, I only use my cell phone, 95% I use my cell phone for business. Well, no, nobody's that stupid. I mean, nobody at the IRS is that stupid. So,
although you did see what I do with my phone, I might be an exception.
Yeah, exactly. That's true, because you really do. But that would be saying, that you never use it for personal,
which not realistic.
Isn't correct. And so the other thing that I learned during that audit was about business and home landlines. Here with a building, if you have a landline coming in here, obviously it's for business. But at home, I always thought I had two lines at my home, one for business and one for fax, and I don't have them anymore. But when I did have them, I considered them business, and I deducted them wholly for business. Well, then I got rid of the fax line, and I used the main line for faxing and for phone calls. And I still deducted the whole thing. But you can't do that. If you only have one line coming into your home office at home, your home office, you cannot deduct it for business. Not even a little bit. Not even if you use it for business. Yeah, they consider the first line coming into your home to be 100% personal. So that was kind of it. Frustrated me, made me a little mad, but now I know, and whatever.
And it's interesting about the cell phone. I didn't realize that you could only deduct a portion of that.
Right.
And I guess that's going to be up to my accountant and
what
to
figure that out.
Is, but
to discuss that and figure it out. Some other things to think about, I guess, like maintenance of your building for you here. I'm sure you're keeping track. If you replace a door, a window, trim, if you have to do anything outside, since this is solely your business, it's all part of business
Right.
expense. So, but then you have to also look at, it's also an asset. And so if you're fixing things up, it's not just an expense necessarily. You got to discuss it with your CPA and
Right.
look at whether it's going to get depreciated like an asset or deducted as an expense all in 1 year.
Now, rule of thumb, I've been told, is that businesses that are in their first, second year quite often operate at a loss. They don't always make money right away.
Right.
So how does that look at the end of the year? I mean, when you have because obviously the expenses can rack up, and people go into it knowing.
Right.
So when you show a loss, I mean, what does the IRS think about that? How does that work?
Well, I think it's expected, like you said, that small businesses are going to have a loss for a couple of years. But I think that the rule of thumb is 3 years. After 3 years, if you're not showing some kind of profit on your income tax returns to the IRS, they're going to claim it's a hobby. And then after that, at some point, they may or may not. It might take them 10 years. And then they say, okay, now wait a minute. You've been losing money on this for 10 years. This is not a business. This is a hobby. And they're going to make you go back and redo your returns and not claim the loss on your income tax return, because when you're coming out to a loss, that's going to come off your taxable income, so you're going to pay less income tax and all that fun
so
stuff.
then you're going to end up with a big tax bill at the end of
exactly.
10,
they're
years.
they're gonna take that stuff away from you. So yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot of people think that just because they're a small business that the IRS is not concerned with them, or the state of Michigan or whatever.
Somebody's here.
Somebody's here. Anyway, they feel like the IRS isn't going to come after them or question them or whatever. But they could. They might not, but they could. And so you want to take everything you have coming to you. You definitely want to do that. I know people who say, "Oh, I just don't deduct anything." Like anything questionable, I don't even deduct it because I just don't want to be in that position with the IRS. And other people that, they may stretch it a little more than they should. But to me, you should take whatever you have coming to you fair and square,
Well,
and not leave something out because you're afraid it's a red flag.
Well, and I guess I look at it too. If I can provide a logical reason why that was necessary for business.
Exactly. Yep. And keeping track of that, making notes, and if there is something that you're not sure about, just like with your cell phone, making notes about or keeping the bills so that you have proof that
Well,
95% of my cell phone is for my business.
And I would like to invite any auditor to take a look at my Facebook page and my phone.
Exactly.
It's so gross looking right now. You can tell it's in my hands all the time.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting, thing too, as far as keeping things separate. I mean, when we go grocery shopping, I always buy shop stuff on a separate tab, so that receipt, there's no question. When I'm buying my lint brush or my, whatever it is I'm getting for the shop, the cleaner, that way it's all supplies.
Yep.
One receipt, no
Absolutely.
confusion.
That's a great way to do it, to just keep everything separate, so there's just no question really as to what is
mixing
for
home
what.
and
Exactly. Yep. Now there's another question. Do you have a separate checking account for the business, so you keep everything separate that way?
I do. And that leads me to yet another question. I love that we're having this discussion. I only have a business checking. I don't have a business savings. I know that should I create like a sinking fund, if you will, for a new furnace, for a new irrigation, start saving? And I don't know how to. I guess you just start a savings account, like a business, a personal.
Yep, that's always a really good idea to plan for that kind of stuff, especially since you bought your building and you're not renting. So those things are all your responsibility. So yes, it's that simple. Open a savings account and determine what you want to end up with in that account. So if you think a new furnace would cost you $1,500, I have no idea. Right. And you think this furnace is just fine right now, but when might I need another one? A year from now. Okay, so put 1,200 or 12. Excuse me, one. Oh my God,
you're struggling today. It's because they're
$1,200. Yeah, it's like because you're so close.
Yeah, intimacy.
No. put $100
per month.
into an account, and for the next year you'll have $1,200 sitting in there. So it's a matter of being disciplined and saving that money and planning for that.
So that's one of the things that I would really like to do, and like figuring out how I tell my accountant. I mean, I'm assuming I just give him the balances in both accounts at the end of the year, and
the thing is he doesn't really, he or she, they do not really care what's in your checking account at the end of the year, unless you're having them do an audit and go through your stuff. They care what your sales were, what your expenses were, and the bottom line net profit, net loss.
So they don't care where
they don't really care where it ends up.
They're in. Okay.
Nope. So I mean, you're going to claim all the income and all the expense, and the difference is what you're going to pay tax on or not.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yep, and whatever you paid yourself, since you're a sole proprietor, right? I believe.
I am, and I'm not set up for payroll, so I don't pay myself.
Yep. When you're a sole proprietor, you don't pay yourself anyway. So that's totally fine.
And I'm set up as an
like an LLC. Yeah. Yep. That's pretty typical. So.
And so the only thing I pay myself out at this point are just my expenses.
Right. Reimbursing yourself.
That's it.
And what it'll end up when you are making money on a regular basis and you pay yourself, you're just going to be doing owner's draws to yourself. So whatever, $500 or whatever you write to yourself, because again, you're claiming the income and the expense, and you're going to pay tax on that bottom line. It's and the bottom line may not equal what you paid yourself, because you might have all the extra sitting in your checking account, and didn't need to pay yourself.
Now the owner's draws, does that go on our personal income tax?
Well, what will happen is when you're a sole proprietor, that bottom line, that net profit after your expenses, that will go on your personal income tax return. So your business will get reported on, I think it's called I can't think of it, Schedule something.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember if it's a Schedule C, I think maybe it's called. And that's where you'll report your income for your business and expenses and that kind of thing. And then that will come out to a net profit, and that will get carried over to your personal income tax return. And if it's a negative, then it will come off your taxable income. If it's a positive,
it gets added.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the big thing you want to remember when you're self-employed like that as a sole proprietor is that whatever that bottom line is, if it's a profit, say it's $5,000, you're going to pay self-employment tax on that you wouldn't pay as an employee working somewhere. So and what that is your FICA tax.
Okay.
So when you're employed somewhere, the employer pays half and you pay half, and it totals 15.3%, I believe.
Okay.
So when you're self-employed, if you make $5,000 net profit, you're going to pay 15.3% just for FICA tax on that, and then it'll get included with your federal income tax and your state taxable too.
Okay.
So that's something that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, I didn't
they
know
have
that,
to pay.
but that's good to know.
Yep, you have to plan for that.
Yeah, lots of good information.
Yeah,
love it.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
Any tips that you can give me as I continue on with my very old-fashioned way of?
Well, your way is old-fashioned, but it's good because it's organized and it's a system that you're using. It's not like you're just throwing everything in a drawer. So, it might be old-fashioned and manual, but it's a system and it works for you right now. So I'm really impressed. I'm not going to show everybody your sales, but I'll move it around so nobody can read it. But it's very, she has very nice lists going, and with each folder having everything organized in there, that's good.
I think it'll make it easier when I do finally move all of this to some type of an online system, which is really the next step. I need to do that. To do that.
Yep. And what I'll do is I'll look up some apps, some accounting apps. I'll check on QuickBooks Online and what their app is like too.
And this question that I have next is really geared towards my industry, my business. But are you familiar with any software specifically for consignment shops? I know they exist.
They do. I'm not familiar with them, but I do know they exist. I have looked at them for other people here and there just a little bit, nothing real detailed, but I probably can find out some good ones for you to use.
If people are watching and they've got, advice on the QuickBooks and the cell phone, if they have any suggestions on software for that, for
Right.
consigners or small retail or what have you, that would be
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
helpful.
So are you looking to hopefully maybe set up some kind of system in an app or software program where like each consigner gets a number and then you can scan in what they have? That kind of thing.
Ideally, I would move away from my Google Sheets and have it all within
So at any
this
time you
program.
can pull it up and see this consigner has
Yeah.
whatever.
And I can do
10
that.
pairs of pants
I
and-
can do that now. I think something like a software program, some type of program, would make it more accurate.
Organized and
yeah,
simple.
yeah.
Yeah,
Accurate,
yeah.
organized.
Probably, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
everything's pretty transparent. Anybody that is a consigner can come in and see what they've got going and what I'm doing at all times. I mean, I try to keep everything.
Right, yeah.
Open.
But it would streamline things for you.
That's what
I
I'm
would think this
thinking.
has to be time consuming too.
Yeah.
So when somebody brings you something, do you write down everything they just brought you? Black pants size this,
I don't.
jeans
and
size
that's
that.
what I want to start doing.
Okay.
Right now, they just pretty much bring it in and dump it on the counter, and I
Yeah.
sort it and tag it and get it out, and then
Okay.
you know.
And so you're putting like someone's initials or something on the tags.
And I
so
do
you
have
know?
some people who keep track of their stuff, do
On their
exactly
own.
what you said on
Okay.
their side of it.
Okay.
And I love it when people get that involved because it keeps us both accountable.
Yeah.
Because it's like any business. Things get missed, and you don't want that to happen. So,
Yep, that's a good point. I'm just going to make a quick note here.
okay.
Okay, so apps for accounting and also apps for kind of like a consignment type situation and resale. So one other thing I just want to mention, a lot of people that know you already know this, that when you started It's Crap You Gotta Have is the name of the group on Facebook. And so Robin was selling stuff online via her Facebook group, and you had to ask or be invited to
Join the group.
join the group. And so since day one, you have been donating a portion of your sales to AC Paw, which is a local dog and cat rescue that I work with and Robin works with here in northern Michigan. And so how much have you donated to date? Do you
I
know
keep track
off
of it.
the-
Oh, yeah. So from the time I started this in 2012 through now, through today, I think we're around 4,200.
Yeah,
this
that's
group.
amazing.
It is.
That is awesome.
And it initially started out with a portion of each sale with the new business, and we've got a lot invested here. I've been
Right.
doing more event-driven
Okay.
fundraisers.
Yeah.
So the give back is still very much a part of my business plan.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to pay the bills right now.
Right, absolutely. And it should be.
Yeah, and then but
That has to come first.
when I have an event, it's $5 if you show up, and
Right.
so we just actually had given AC Paw a couple of $100 for Facebook likes and people that had come to events, and so that added to the bottom line. It's just
Nice.
really cool. So I mean, that piece of it is always in the back of my mind. It's
Right,
really
yeah.
important to me, and a lot of this started because of the support that group had given
Right.
me. I mean,
Yeah, that's awesome.
it was really awesome.
Yeah. So how did you get the idea originally to start Crap You Have on Facebook?
Oh, that was literally my reason. I don't know if you
Okay.
remember, I had kind of started this saying, hey, I'm going to, sell a few things online. I want to just make a few bucks for Christmas,
Right.
whatever. If you want to, be a part of it, great. If not, no big deal.
I do remember.
And it turns out people really enjoyed shopping and they liked my taste. Go figure. And when all my stuff ran out, they still wanted to shop.
Yeah.
So that's how the idea evolved. Well, do you want me to sell your crap, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people did. And at the beginning it was really a challenge because people that didn't want their crap would just dump it, and they realized that
Like a Goodwill thing, like people
Yeah.
driving up and just dumping all their
Yeah.
total crap.
And I
like real crap. This is good crap.
I like
here.
to think this is good crap.
Fancy crap.
I feel like I'm a crap snob. I'll tell anybody that walks in the door. I am such a crap snob. So in the beginning, it was definitely a lot going on. Somebody asked me just the other day, so did you do this before, And I said, nope. I'm one of those people that just jumped in not having a clue what I was doing.
Right.
I
That's
still
good.
don't.
I think that's the best way.
Yeah.
You think about it too much and you're not going to do it.
Well, right. You can freak yourself out is what happens.
And other people can freak you out too.
Well, and they do.
Did you do this? Did you do that?
Like
what about this?
This
what about
whole
that?
conversation here. Did you do this?
I'm freaking
Are
out.
you doing 1099s? Are you set up for sales tax? As I have a hot flash before we even turned the camera on.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is awesome though. I learned a lot just even in our conversation today, and I appreciate the help as far as the follow up on some of those apps and software programs.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you for agreeing to do this.
Oh my gosh.
It was your idea.
Oh my
Thanks
God.
for the
I just think
idea.
it's awesome. I love what you're doing helping small businesses, and I hope that if anybody that's watching wants to come out and visit the shack.
Absolutely.
Come on
She has
over.
the best crap around.
I'm proud of my crap. And I like to say that I probably am the only woman in town whose crap doesn't stink.
Yeah.
And I can say that.
I'd even let you say the real word, but no, we don't do it. We don't do it. We don't want to get me in trouble.
This is a family program.
This is true, yes.
So
you never
thank
know
you.
who's going to see it.
Thank you for being here.
All
that
right.
was awesome.
So bye from
Bye-bye.
us. See ya.